You know, and then it wasn't very long after that, about 1969, this was in 1967 when the first time we recorded it. About 1969, I meet a guy named Glenn Campbell out at the Hollywood Bowl, working with a group called Chet Atkins and the Festival of Music. Now, maybe they've been up here in your neck of the woods. That's Boots Randolph and Floyd Kramer and Chet Atkins. And at that time, Chet was producing me, and he started taking me out on the road with him, see, because he wanted me to get used to get back in front of people, see, because I'd been spending my life in the studio, and I'd get out in front of people, and it was So I met Glenn at the Hollywood Bowl, and Chet said, "Hey, Glenn, why don't you put Reed on your new television show?" He said, "Reed, you want to be on a television show?" I said, "Hell yeah." He looked at Chet and he said, "You got it." And that's how hard it was to get on the Glenn Campbell show. And I remember when I went out there, I was kind of green at big time. You know, when I say big time, I knew Chet and I knew Floyd and I knew Boots, and they were like family. I get out there on the West Coast where everybody talks funny, see? And I know that I'm in a different world altogether, see? So I remember one night, and when I say a different world, I want you to know I was a nervous wreck. Well, I don't mean to say I was a nervous wreck, but I could thread a sewing machine while it's running. Now that's quick, at least, ain't it? Huh? Well, sure it is. See, I don't know nothing. I know that, right? So anyhow, Glenn was always trying to help old Jerry be cool by saying, "Hey, Reed, be cool." I fooled him a lot. I said, "I'm cool." But one night, Ann Murray was on the show, and Glenn Campbell and Ann Murray and myself were going to sing a trio version of a song that Tennessee Ernie Ford and Margaret Whiting recorded called "Ain't Nobody's Business But My Own." And they brought in the audience. We rehearsed it. Glenn was sitting down there, and Ann was sitting there, and I was sitting here. And she'd sing a verse to Glenn, and she'd sing a verse to me. And it was that old, "Nobody's business, ain't nobody's business," you know, that old song. So one of the verses to me was, "Hey, Reed, how come you got so much cooking? You ain't rich, you ain't good looking." And I'm supposed to look at the camera and say, "Well, that ain't nobody's business but my own." Woo. Well, an 8-year-old retarded orangutan can remember that, can't he? Huh? Sure he can. Right? Right? Wrong. See, I'm talking wrong, see, because you forget the nervous factor, see. She turned to me and said, "Hey, Reed, how come you got so much cooking? I mean, the studio's full, the camera's on and everything. How come you got so much cooking? You ain't rich, you ain't good looking." I looked at the camera. I couldn't remember the first damn word of nothing. You want me to recite you a little Chinese algebra while I'm about it? See, that's how blind. Well, and you know, the mind's a funny thing. In those few seconds that my mind's blank, the thoughts are coming through. 30 million people, fool. You're in front of 30 million people, see? And Mama's one of them, see? Well, I had to say something, so I looked at the camera and I said, "Well, Annie, when you're hot, you're hot." See? Right? Well, they knew. See, all them people knew I done screwed it all up, see, but they didn't care. They were just laughing like y'all. But see, when they laughed like that, see, the way they did, my little genius brain kicked in. And I said, "That's a hit song, and I'm going to go write it." And I did. Glenn let me have an office out there. It was the bathroom over the side of the stage. So I went into my private office, and I got some of my personalized private stationery off that roll. And I wrote down the words to When You're Hot, You're Hot, see, and I put it out. And it started in the toilet, boys, but it didn't stay there. When you're hot, you sweat, and it goes like this. Folks, me and Homer Jones and Big John Talley had a big crap game going back in the alley. And I kept rolling them sevens and winning all them pots. Now my luck was so good I could do no wrong. I just kept rolling and controlling the bones, and finally they just stood there and said, well, brother, when you're hot, you're hot.
When you're hot, you're hot.
When you're not, you're not.
When you're not, you're not.
I say, hey, put all the money in and let's roll them again. When you're hot, sing it, ladies.
La 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 la. La 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 la.
Huh?
La 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 la. When you're hot, you're hot.
Somehow it ain't the same. I can't tell you. Every time I rolled them bones, I'd win. And I was just right back. I was going to roll them again. When I heard something behind me, I turned around, the big old cow. He said, hello, boys. Then he gives us a grin. Said, look like I'm going to be hauling y'all in and keeping all that money bill. But then I said, well, Sherlock, when you're hot, yeah.
When you're hot, you're hot.
When you're not, you're not.
When you're not, you're not.
He said, boys, you can explain it all down at City Hall. When you're hot, ladies, go.
La 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 la. La 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 la.
Boogity, boogity, boogity.
La 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 la.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When you're hot, you're hot.
When he took us into court, couldn't believe my eyes. The judge was an old fishing buddy I recognized, and I said, hey, Judge, your buddy. Pay that $100 a week if you get me out of this spot. So he gave my friend a little fine to pay. He turned around and grinned at me. Right before he said, 90 days, jury, when you're hot, you're hot.
When you're hot, you're hot.
When you're not, you're not.
When you're not,
I
you're
said, hey, Judge, you let my friends go free and you throw the book at me. He said, well, when you're hot, you're hot. I said, uh-huh. Listen to me, Judge Pooh. You want to know what hot is? Hot's me taking you out behind this courthouse and beating you like a government mule. I said, who gonna collect my welfare check, son? When you're hot, you're hot.